If we learn to separate ourselves from our thoughts and literally have a constant state of meditation, basically.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Episode 14. It's been a little bit since we've recorded. Last time was with Sion.
Love you, Sion.
Great episode. And today we're here with Darcie Miles.
Hello.
Darcie, you want to introduce yourself?
I would love to introduce myself. My name is Darcie Miles. I don't know. I feel like I have to say that again. I go to SUU. I'm a dance major, minoring in psychology.
That's really cool.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I love the college life. I love reading, yoga.
She's a big fan of the podcast,
And
too,
I'm a big podcast
it's
fan.
always
I
great
think
to
I'm
have-
probably the number one. I'm not going to lie. Sorry
Yeah,
for
I'll
everyone
say
else.
that.
It's always great to have someone who actually listens to the podcast on the show.
That's true. Some people will come on and be like, "You have a podcast?" I'm
Yeah.
like, yep. It's cool.
Yeah. So actually, we're gonna start out with our earth shattering today because there was an earthquake.
Oh yes.
There was literal earth shattering.
Crazy.
Literally.
What were you doing?
I
What happened?
was sleeping. I did not wake up. Wish I did.
Really.
I'm very disappointed in myself.
Yeah, I
but-
didn't wake up either.
Yeah, I was definitely awake. I sat up right in my bed on my yoga mat on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
I was
Sorry
sleeping.
about that.
I was sleeping on. And I just was looking at my desk because it was just shaking like crazy, but it was dark, so I could only hear it. I was just so zoned out. So I go to my parents' room. I was like, "Do you guys feel that?" And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "My whole desk was shaking." My dad's like, "It was probably a snowplow." And definitely no snow outside.
That is so
I was like, "Where's the garbage truck?" But then right then, my brother called my mom, so I just took the phone from her. I was like, "Dude, did you feel that?" I was like, "Yeah, I felt that." I made a vlog on it.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
So if you haven't seen his YouTube channel yet, Tanner and Wilks, I
Wilks.
believe. Yeah. The
Check it
vlog is
out.
really good. I think I'm in it.
You
Yeah,
are
I'm in
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We play spike ball.
It's kind of fun.
But
Either
yeah.
way, it was really cool. There was a lot of aftershocks afterwards, apparently, but I didn't feel any of those.
Me neither.
There was one in the afternoon. I think that was slightly bigger that my brother texted me about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Other than that, the hot topic right now is, as everyone knows, coronavirus. But we are going to stray away from that today.
We're
This
not
will be
talking
a
about it.
Corona-free podcast.
Go listen to other
Just like
podcasts.
everything.
Yeah, it's on literally any other podcast.
Any other
so.
podcast does that right now.
No, that I was scrolling through my podcast that I don't listen to, that's the update, and everything was just had something to do with coronavirus in it. One about a sales pitch, but will this sale work during coronavirus? Or psychology during coronavirus.
Yeah.
Just anything.
Kind of annoying. So we'll stray away from that. But we are going to try to upload twice a week again because we have so much time. So
And you have so much time to
Yeah.
listen and watch.
That
yeah.
actually makes me really happy. I'm not gonna lie.
We're actually planning something big, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right, so first things first. What are you guys doing with all this free time?
This isn't about Corona. This is about free time.
This is
Yeah.
about free time.
Yeah.
I've been going on a hike every single day because I love the outdoors.
I need
And
to
I've
do
been
that.
finding some really cool places. My dad's backyard is up in Canberra.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
it's the hills or whatever, and there's just trails back there, and I've just been wandering around getting lost up there. It's been so fun.
I
Yeah,
might
we're
go
gonna
do that
play.
right after this. Because for me, I've been spending way too much time on my computer. Not in a non-productive sense, but because online school for one, but I've just been working a lot on videos. I have 3, maybe even 4 different video projects I'm working on right now with the podcast that I'm constantly editing in there as well. So I'm just keeping myself really busy in there and lots of different stuff going on, but I need to get outside more. So,
Yeah. Tanner actually threw something together for my birthday, and it was really
Oh,
awesome.
That was so
It
cute.
was really
Yeah,
fun to
no.
make, actually.
Yeah, I teared up a little bit. Not gonna
Aw.
lie.
That's so tender.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've been running every morning with the team, trying to get back into it. Nothing too crazy, really. Now when I go to do something, I really don't have a time limit on it, so I can spend quite a while doing it.
Totally.
Yeah. Other than hikes, do you have anything?
Yes, in fact I do. There's lots of online yoga flows going on right now, and I'm a I'm a big time yogi. Just kidding. I just really love yoga. And so I've been watching a lot of those and just flowing or doing my own flows because sometimes that's what feels good. So
what do you mean by flows exactly for the non-yogis?
Okay,
because I obviously know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So
really.
a yoga
I
flow, there's like it's called vinyasa. It's like yoga isn't necessarily just like stretching. It's just like it's like routine movement that is like more, I don't know. It's like literally you're just like flowing through movement. That's basically the
like
idea.
Kung Fu? Just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like Kung Fu.
It is. It's like it's a flow, and so like.
No, when I hear you say that, I picture in Kung Fu Panda 2 at the beginning when Master Shifu has that raindrop and he like moves around. Yeah.
Whoa. A little different.
But go look up like
Kinda
sun
like water
salutations, and that's a flow. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
you know what a flow is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've done yoga before. When we went and did hot yoga
The
that one
class that
time,
you went to, that was a flow.
So fun though.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like what I meant by flow though. We saw you right after though. We were all driving away and we saw you running.
We saw you running.
Oh, really?
And we were all just like,
I do remember
we were
that,
just all
actually.
drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Sweaty hot yoga.
hot
There's
yoga's
nothing
so
better.
nice.
There's nothing better than
That's
hot
funny.
yoga.
Yeah,
Gotta go again.
I've never really done yoga, if I'm being honest. My mom is a big yoga person. Do you just do it
really?
at your house?
Yeah. So right now I'm doing it at my house because I don't have a membership. Sadly, I've been in school for a long
Well, it's
time.
probably closed anyways.
Yeah, it is closed.
True.
But I for the last year and a half I've been at Imbalance Yoga. Plug right there. You guys should all go check it out. Tanner has been with me. He can attest. It's pretty
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting paid to say this. Just kidding.
Which dude?
This is an ad. Yeah. Deal with it.
Deal with it. I need to make a new one. I literally just made it on the spot. I'm like, it like shows all the points of what I need to read. I'm like, okay, this is an ad. Yeah, deal with it. And then I start reading everything.
We should record one together.
Yes.
But,
We'll make it more entertaining.
yeah.
But what was I gonna say?
Sorry that we're throwing in ads. We gotta pay the bills somehow.
Yeah. So I've been doing hot yoga for the past couple years, and I could go off about all the health benefits, but honestly, you should just look them up for yourself. But the cool thing about Imbalance is that there's infrared heat, which is super good for your organs and your digestive system and so many other things. But the best part is it doesn't have to be 110 degrees to be sweating, like literally drops everywhere. Which it used to, like in a lot of hot yoga places, it's like you feel like you're gonna die of heat exhaustion, but it doesn't make you like sweat until it's literally like 110, 115. Or it's sweat like a ton, but with infrared it'll like be up like 95, and like it's like more of an internal heat. It's really weird, but it's awesome. It makes you feel really good.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, no, like I don't know the difference between the two because I only had the infrared light, but like I was like surprised I didn't feel like I wanted to pass out. 'Cause, like, I've been like hiking in the summer and just like really hot days, and I was like, but in there it just felt so much
Exactly.
better.
And you're not like reaching for your water bottle every 5 minutes because you feel like you're dehydrated. Anyways,
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah. So yeah.
My favorite part was, I can't remember what pose we were in, but we were down and I was like tilting my neck up, and when I did it, I like rolled, and this little pouch right here in between my collarbone, yeah, it was full, and when I went, it went it was like squirted everywhere, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Maddie Nielsen that day. We went 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
God, literally, it was so crazy. And the second time, Sion was also there. And I went down on my back. We were like going into boat pose, and that's like where you're in like like V-ups. It's like basically where you're in the middle of a V-up. And we went down. I heard a splash on my yoga mat, and I said to myself, "Have I ever sweat this much?" And the answer was no, absolutely not. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it's kind of cool how like sometimes sweat is really gross, but at the same time, like sometimes it's almost feels good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like when you're
Totally.
working
I
out,
love
it's
a good
completely
sweat.
different than from when you're nervous and you're sweating.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You're just like at school and you're getting sweaty, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But when you're just like working out, I love just like sweating so much.
Yeah,
Me too.
and like when I run on a treadmill, which I try not to, but it happens sometimes, and I'll just like be dripping onto the treadmill, you know, and it almost feels good.
Yeah,
you know? Like I'm working hard.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that is too good.
Let's see here. So also, this is kind of a rough transition, I'll be honest. But she wanted to, Darcie, when I asked her what she wanted to talk about, she said the ego and how to let go of ego.
Yes.
If I'm getting that right. I have very little background on this, so.
I've been on a wild journey this year. Basically, in the words of John Mayer himself, I am a recovering ego addict, but in a different way that like you might understand. So ego is very misinterpreted these days. People don't really understand it at all, or understand like how to let go of it, or like why it's bad, or anyways. So I started reading these books to create more of like a lifestyle change. So I'm not an expert, okay? I'm not trying to like convince you. Don't take everything I know for like truth or fact or whatever, but I would encourage you to read these books if you're interested. The first one, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He's literally like, he probably knows the most out of anyone. And then The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. And then if you want to learn more about like yoga and meditation and like becoming closer with God in this aspect, Eat, Pray, Love is a great one, especially the second section where she's in India. Anyways, go look it up. And
so this kind of, not to throw like Sion under the bus here, but we kind of talked last week a lot about forcing yourself to do things that are uncomfortable, and so I want to hear like your opinion on that, because she was talking about it before and it was very interesting.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like try to simplify this as much as possible. Ego is the voice inside your head that dictates your reality. It is not you. You are not your ego. Your thoughts, if you can disconnect yourself from your thoughts, that's like the first step to letting go of it, because what you're thinking, you can be aware of it, which means that it's not you. Okay, and there's way more that goes into that, but basically...
Well, that's...
Wait, okay. So let me make sure I'm getting this clear. So like, ego, is this kind of like what Freud was talking about, like the ego and the id ego and the super ego?
Yeah, it actually is. So
okay.
Ego, in define, if you look it up, it says sense of self or sense of self-importance.
Okay.
So basically it's like what you think of as like your sense of self, like your thoughts. That is like the idea. It tells you what's good. It's your judgment, it's your fear, it's your anxiety, it's your it's when you try to prove yourself. It's all the thoughts that go into doing things, but thoughts are so unneeded and people don't even realize it. It's like you only need to use, and then in The Untethered Soul he talks about how your thoughts take up a lot of energy. It's called inner energy versus outward. It's not like calories. It's like, think of when you get so excited because you have like a race.
Yeah.
Like that's not because you've been eating. It's because like, it's excited. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But your thoughts take up a lot of energy, and space like trying to avoid thoughts takes up energy. Trying to remember thoughts takes up energy. And even just constant thinking inside your head, mindless judgment and everything that goes on inside your head is so unnecessary, and it takes up so much of our focus that when we try to focus, it's a million times harder. If we learn to separate ourselves from our thoughts and literally have a constant state of meditation, basically just focus and focusing on exactly what you're doing and everything, the world around you in the present moment, that you can focus so much better when you actually have to use your thoughts.
Like a state of flow. Like
yeah,
when you're hitting
exactly.
shots, when you're hitting threes, you know? Like,
Exactly.
I love the idea of flow.
It's an idea of
so
flow.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
If I could major in flow, I would.
No,
I
yeah.
think flow is so interesting.
So for those of you unaware, flow is a psychological term that, describes when you're functioning at a really high state where everything is just clicking and you don't have to think about it. It requires very little mental effort.
And
I think everyone has felt it at some point. Sorry.
Exactly. And no, what I wanted to do with my lifestyle was listen to my spirit and my body, because I wasn't connecting to God and I wasn't connecting to those around me. I was so in my ego, like my thoughts, they controlled me. Like I wasn't controlling my thoughts. And when I decided, and I wanted to open up, that was like the biggest thing, is I just wanted to open my spirit, open up. And I learned that like your spirit is so much smarter and your body is so much smarter than your ego. Like, your body knows what it wants to eat. And if you connect with your spirit and your body, like, it will literally tell you. And there's so many ways, like, my friend and I both have parents that are energy workers and healers. And so we've connected on this, and we've learned ways that sorry, this is getting too intense for those.
No,
I'm not insane. But if you can feel lightness, literally, like, if you're open enough, you can feel what your body wants. Like, if I envisioned a banana in this hand and a piece of chocolate cake in this hand, and I asked my body what it wants, this hand is gonna feel lighter and this hand is gonna feel heavier. Okay, sorry, that's enough of
so I have a question with that. So
I wanted money in my hands and they both went up.
So this also kind of has to do with, doing things you don't like, because, little young children, they hate vegetables, what I mean?
Totally.
And they can totally go, like, years without having them.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, explain that? I'm not, like, accusing you. I'm just
it's because, I mean, and kids are so in tune with their bodies a lot more than adults, and with their, like, spirits. That's why we all, like, kind of want to become more childlike. That's the idea. Kids don't overthink,
Yeah, they barely think.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. But yeah, kids don't want vegetables because it tastes bad. And so their body rejects it. So their body doesn't want vegetables. That's the thing. Like, their body does not want vegetables. My body doesn't want celery. It hates celery. Like, I think it tastes bad. It doesn't like.
I got celery from B-dubs in the fridge, and it's so
and
good.
So in that way, they really aren't, like, not necessarily because it's, like, bad for them. Your spirit and your body aren't gonna want everything.
But they still
that's good
need
for
it.
you. Yeah, but that's a different thing.
But so are you saying they should avoid it because they don't like it? That's what I'm
No, I don't think you should necessarily avoid things.
So
that
you should eat the broccoli even if you don't like it.
Here's where it gets a little bit more into what I was talking about with you earlier, is you can change what your body and what your spirit wants. You can change it. It, like, I choose now to not go against my spirit and to do things that I only, like, really want to, that my spirit really wants to do. So if I don't want to go on a run, I'm not going to go until I get into a state where, what am I going to enjoy about this run? And I've enjoyed things that have tasted bad. That's the truth. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to choose to enjoy this. And it's not like, me trying to force myself to want it. I'm like, what can I enjoy about this celery? It's like, I can feel the textures in my mouth, and in some way, I can enjoy that.
Okay, so I was going to say, like, what's the difference between choosing to enjoy something and forcing yourself just to do something? But it's for what it sounds like, is you just, like, finding the positivity in it and finding what you really can enjoy.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying, I know it's going to be good for me, but you're not acknowledging what's actually going to be good for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
taking that moment to, like, acknowledge it so you can really have a more positive experience.
Yeah. Okay. Like, it's feeling the sensation. It's the idea of literally being present, all in now. You're not judging it. You're not thinking about, oh, like, I don't like it, da-da-da-da. Like, you're just going to accept that it's there. And when you eat it, you're going to feel the sensations in your mouth, and you're going to find what you can enjoy about it. But it's like the same thing with cold showers. You could either go in and force yourself to take a cold shower because you feel like you need to. Your ego is telling you that. But if you're going to go into the cold shower, you're like, I'm going to feel the sensation, and it's going to feel like a lot. And I'm just going to be aware of the sensation, and I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to say, oh, I don't like this. I'm not going to say, this is way too cold. I'm literally just going to feel it. And that's the same idea with yoga and a lot of stretches and poses. They hurt really bad. Like, I don't necessarily want to do it, but I'm gonna be totally present in that moment and feel every single sensation and just be aware of it. And that's the idea of being present all the time.
So for me in the cold shower, like, the hardest thing, of course, is just, like, the initial step into the cold shower, and just like I know what's coming, but I, like, know how I'm going to react to it. But sometimes it's just like this, like, maybe like ego or just the thought in my head, like, knowing what it is gonna feel like, but just pushing that aside, I guess you could say, and just, like, knowing I'm going to just feel the sensation instead. Because as soon as I'm in, I'm fine. I'm good to go. I'll stay in for the rest of the time. And I don't have any second thoughts about it. But, like, kind of going off a little bit, that, like, initial step into something like uncomfortable, but like seeing that's gonna be positive in the end has been something that's helped me. Like it's been like kind of a catalyst for me to do a lot of different things in my life. Just like simple things that just really suck to start off with, like going and talking to someone you don't know at all, or like one time I was at what was it? It was ward youth conference or something like that, but there was a bunch of different wards there, and we had this sick dance actually, and at one point there was like a slow dance going on, and all the boys were like, nah. I was like, come on, we can just ask someone, and it was so hard for me to just go do it by myself because I didn't have my boys with me, but it was just kind of that same feeling of like just stepping into the cold shower and just like going for it, and as soon as I just made that first initial movement, I was totally just set, like my mind was just set on doing it.
No, that's like a great example because so many times it ego blocks relationships or connections because like I don't want to go to a party alone. Like, I'm in college, I know I need to socialize or whatever, so like what do I do so my spirit wants to go to that party? And like it won't at first, but then I'll think I'm gonna care about someone when I walk into that room. The first person that I talk to, I'm just gonna care about them, and then my spirit wants to go and it wants to care about that person. It has that desire, and so I'll go and it'll be a good experience rather than I don't want to go but I'm gonna force myself to go. You know?
Yeah.
So you can change what you want, but that's the basic gist of that. But yeah, if you're gonna force yourself to do something, it's not gonna turn out as well as you think it will.
Okay. Well, I kind of have a similar thing with salt. So this that sounds weird, but every day I come home and my mom usually has like dinner ready. This is during the school year. I guess it's still the school year, but
kind of.
Yeah. So she'll have like something ready, and then I'll almost always, it depends on what it is, but I'll almost always like grab the salt shaker and immediately like put it on without even like tasting it first.
That is incredibly impolite, Clyn.
Yeah, and my mom always is like, that's so bad for you, blah, 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 blah. But I realized that I've lost a lot of salt in my body when I sweat it out, and my body's just craving that to be back in my body. And so I drink a lot of water and I have a lot of salt because I lost that, that during when I sweat it all out.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I hate when people say that certain things are bad for you because, like, I'm literally the same way. I have really low sodium, and my body naturally loves salt. Like, it just does.
Yeah,
and
that's me too.
Yeah, and I used to drink, like, Pedialyte. Like, all my friends, like, hate those really intense electrolyte drinks. They're like, it tastes like sour water, but I love it, and it's because it's just filled with salt. But yeah, that's cool. And like there are other things that people need, and your body knows. Like I remember one day I was just feeling really fatigued, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. Like I'm not sick. I've been eating like fine, blah, blah, blah. And then I literally just felt to myself, I'm like, I really need iron. I didn't even know what iron was. I could just feel it. Your body is really smart. Like it knows what it needs. It's so crazy.
Okay. No, I definitely get what you guys are saying now. Like at least a lot better because I haven't had this for a while because I've been just eating whatever I want recently. Mainly because I'm not pushing myself like
whatever your
physically.
ego wants.
Yeah, okay. I'm not pushing myself as physically as I used to. So like last year when I was climbing, like I don't know, like a lot, I guess. But like that was a big focus of my life, and like eating healthy was a big focus of my life. I usually like try and do like research for nutrition, like what should I be eating right now? But like when I was just like really in the moment, like I understood like, okay, I really like, I just felt like I wanted to eat this and this and that. And like, I would always feel so good right before a competition just because what I ate, but I'm like, I don't actually know what I'm doing, but I guess my body just knows what it wants, because I never ate anything that was just.
That's what I'm saying. Your body and your spirit are so much smarter than your thoughts. Like we think so much, and we think we know what's best for us, but really it's like when you finally tune in and you're in like this constant state of presence, like your body and spirit are so smart.
Well, yeah, that's why sometimes it's hard for me to have a routine because like I used to always think, oh, if I wake up and eat a bowl of oatmeal, then I'll feel fine on the run. So I did it for quite a while, and sometimes I would feel good, and sometimes I wouldn't, And so I like you said, it's all about what your body feels. Another thing that you're talking about with iron is, I was thinking about it the other day. Like I could eat steak, like any meal, right? Yeah. But there are times that it tastes so much better, and I realize it's because like my body's kind of depleted in those nutrients that it has.
Yeah, totally.
So your body just naturally craves what it doesn't have. That's what I'm getting at. Sorry.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, now I have lots of vitamins and like
Gummy
green.
bites.
No, not gummy. I'm like against those. Like these like green powders that like give me everything I need, and like after using those, like my body feels so much better because I can't get a lot of those things in like single foods. Like when they're all together, it's great.
No, it's a multivitamin. Nature. Nature's
True,
multivitamin.
true.
Like getting
Get out
outside.
in the sun.
Yeah,
Just getting outside in general. Like,
Vitamin D.
no, I thought that we read a little like research paper in our English class when we did kind of a unit on mental health, just about like getting outside and how that really just boosts so many different things like within your body, like natural goodness. I don't know, like what that
Endorphins,
different
serotonin,
things like
I don't
that. But no, like they like even just small things, whether it was like scent or sight, would reduce levels of either anxiety. They like did a test on people just either looking at pictures of nature, getting like a nice whiff of a flower, you know, and just all those different small things. I just think it's really nice and makes sense why everyone's always like, I just love going outside. I'm like, oh, you're so basic. But I'm like, oh wait, that's we all need
love
it.
going
It's natural, you know.
Well, I have a question. Have you ever noticed like there's like a certain summer smell? You know what I mean? Like,
okay, totally. I notice it all the time. I think it's most intense though in fall.
Really?
There's the fall smell for me and the spring
like the
smell.
evenings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. There's definitely a scent.
Yeah.
don't
There's
know.
also a scent for the first day of school. I feel like you don't.
I don't
That's what I think the fall smell is. Like
Really?
when the leaves are like.
Yeah,
red
I don't know.
and-
Like I went back to my old elementary school a little bit ago, and I was getting that smell. And I was like, am I going back?
I understand
to school
that.
or
For me, like the smell normally is just like temperature. Like if I breathe in through my nose, is my nose gonna be cold or warm? Because like I love going outside in the winter and just ice cold air through my nose. I'm like, it's
well,
winter.
there's also there's like the rainy smell too. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
I feel like
rainy
that's an
smell is so
actual
good.
scent.
But yeah,
No, but like
In the
there
old-
really
olfactory.
is. Like
There
the other
is,
day, I like sent a text to someone. I'm like, does it smell like spring to you? It literally smells like spring to me. I don't know.
yeah. No, I there's also there's like this cross country smell. I don't know what it is, but like and I didn't notice this at first, but like one time I was running and I like took a whiff. I was like. And then I smelled this, like, the cross-country smell. I was like, does this smell like cross-country to anyone?
I mean, there's definitely a climbing smell. It's sweat and chalk. But
Yeah, there's
that's really
definitely
obvious.
a dance smell too.
I've heard that your like brain associates smells with things really easily.
with memories
though.
with smell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
memories.
yeah.
No, that's definitely a big thing for me. Like
Hippocampus.
one time I was talking to this girl and I just like, got a small scent of her perfume or something like that. And all of a sudden I was like, back in Hawaii or something like that. In this house. No, there was this house I stayed at in Hawaii that had such a distinct smell. There's certain houses that do have a certain smell. Like my grandparents' house has a
for sure.
total certain smell.
Yeah.
Like this house, my house will probably have a certain smell when I
feel like
leave and
every
come
house
back.
has
You
Every
know.
household, yeah.
I
And-
never could smell my house though.
But yeah, it was just so crazy that this one girl had like the same scent as this house, and I was like, Hawaii, and it was just like made me so happy whenever I was around her.
Well, I feel like I'll come, like,
Yeah, she
I'll
doesn't have
leave
a
for
smell
2
anymore,
years
though.
on my mission and then come back to my house and be like, oh, it smells like home.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I
I'm
don't smell it
excited
right
about
now.
that.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, you're not really conscious of it in the moment, but...
What were you
Sorry,
gonna do?
Yeah.
No, I was
Were you
just-
gonna sniff?
No.
Just take a
Never
nice-
mind. Forget about it. Okay, let's transition here.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take a quick transition. Just kidding. Wait, can we get
the one
deeper?
transitioning here?
I was just kidding. I was just
I
kidding.
guess Darcie's in control of this
I was
now.
just taking some jokes. I listen to those podcasts a lot, so
Wow.
I know
Yeah.
all about the transitions.
She knows the ins and outs.
What was I gonna say? Oh, but I want to get deeper into the present really, really
Okay.
fast.
Yeah,
Let's go
okay,
for
go
it.
Okay,
ahead,
so this could last forever,
We
but
kind of went on a lighthearted tangent.
Just a little bit
fun.
to
That was really
lighten
fun.
the tension
I
up.
knew.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay, wait. What was I gonna say?
Presents.
Oh yeah. So thoughts unnecessary.
time.
Present time. Okay. Oh, freeze. Oh
Don't
my
think
gosh.
too hard about
No,
it.
now I'm thinking. See, that's the issue. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Oh yes.
So I read it.
Wait, we already talked about. See, now I'm forgetting that of the things that we talked about before this, and I can't remember if we've already talked about it in the podcast.
Speaking of thinking, so you're not like overthinking this, I'm just gonna talk about
Yeah,
something. so
talk
you
about
think.
it.
Whenever we go back and edit the podcast, I'm always like listening to everything that's being said, and when something's said, I'll like have a thought. I'm like, oh, I want to say this, and then I'll say it like right after, but I'll have forgotten that I was gonna say it. Except for last
I
time,
totally do that too.
I had this thought, and I was like, oh, I want to say this, and I looked at myself, and I had that face that I was like, I was gonna say it. And then I forgot right there on the spot. I'm like, no, because I wanted to say it like right then.
Oh, that's
it was about embracing the suck.
Embracing the
Interesting.
It was this motto that this team, I trained with a climbing team from Texas over the summer after my sophomore year, and one of their mottos was embrace the suck. So like, if you forgot to bring your climbing shoes to practice, just embrace that suckiness and just like make do with it, you know, like climb with your normal shoes on, you know, just like still put in your best effort with what you have.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny embracing the suck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, did
Okay,
you remember?
I remembered at least
Awesome.
part
It
of
worked.
what I wanted to talk about here today on this podcast. Okay, so
I really came here for.
okay, so when I was reading The Power of Now, again, literally the sickest book of all time.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yep, same.
So there's this idea of time that's an illusion. And I know people say this all the time, time is an illusion, blah, blah,
I've been
blah,
thinking
blah,
about
blah.
this a lot, especially since our last podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, so the idea is that you have never lived in the past. Isn't that crazy? And you never will live in the future. You will always live right now. Right now. Think about it. You lived in the now, and you will live in the now. So when you think about the past and you overthink it, it's literally like so ridiculous. It's so unnecessary unless you're learning from it. But even then, honestly, you learn in your experience. You don't learn from your experience. So it's like,
yeah. Well, your brain only remembers the memory.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It can't picture the exact moment. It just remembers the last time you remembered it.
Yeah.
And which is why your memory is kind of unreliable.
and they like change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what was I gonna say with this is like, so that's why you're thinking and you're when you're not completely present, you're living in the past or you're living in the future, and that's why the ego can't exist like right now, like it can't exist if you're fully in the present.
It
And
can't.
that it can't
Oh, okay.
because if you're thinking, then you're not.
Then you're
present.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, so the idea of time being an illusion is that like it makes it so that anxiety, worry, fear are all like completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
And
they're
if
irrelevant.
if you are like completely aware of what you're doing at all times, like in the now, like you literally won't be afraid, you won't worry. And I was reading part of it the other day, and I was like so mad because Maddie Nielsen texted me to go on a hike, and I like woke up too late and like missed it. And I like started getting upset with myself, and then I literally remembered in that moment, I'm like why am I even thinking this? Like why am I even worried about this? Why am I doing this when like that already happened?
Yeah.
It's not your present moment right now. There's no need to like worry about it. You learn from it. I'm not gonna stay up till 1 a.m. watching TikToks anymore. And
No more
and
TikToks.
and that's the thing. And what if you're completely in the present? It is the epitome of this moment is the only moment that matters. The only moment that will ever matter. No moments are more significant, more important, or better than other moments because the only one you're living in is right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like I've gone off on tangents about this, like in my journal, like I'll be writing, then all of a sudden I'm just like, what, like going off about it. And for me, like the crazy thing about the present, you know, is just like how like you think about like I have silly analogies for this because I think I'm like a philosopher or something in my journal, but I'm like the difference between the past and the future is like the horizon in the sky, and the line that divides them is unseeable, but it's there, and it like divides them, and that's the now that we live in, you know? This like unexisting but existing line, you know, like it can't be quantified. Like you can't say like the now is exactly this long, you know, because it's like there's no start and there's no finish to right now. It's
eternal.
It's eternal, you know,
Yeah.
the eternal now, as they say. And I just think that idea is just really like one mind-boggling, just like because you just go in circles back and forth about like almost paradoxical, but it's also just so cool, I think, you know, and just I don't know really where to go with it. I just think it's a really cool idea.
And
with it.
It's like accepting the fact that like where you are is where you are. Yeah, the past is in the past, and that like what's coming up ahead is not more important than where you are right now.
Exactly.
And we think that it is. We create these illusions of the future that don't exist. It hasn't happened yet. Why are we even scared? Why are we worried? It literally has not happened.
Oh, I think of so many things
And
like I plan.
yeah, exactly. You have
future.
these like fake ideas in your mind and you think that they're going to be way more important than what you're doing right now, but it's not true because you're not living it.
So I had this. I read this book. I've mentioned this before. It's called The Fearless Mind. Right, correct, Manny? You probably read it.
I've read it. I love it.
And he talks about how fear really isn't real. It's an
I read it this
abstract
year too.
I was gonna read it.
Yeah.
I was gonna meet with him to work on like climbing mental stuff, but he never got back to me.
Yeah. So he talks about how fear isn't real. It's an abstract concept. It exists only in your brain because, which sounds like really cliche and like, oh, I'm fearless, but
live with no fear.
So he gave this example of if say you were scared of crocodiles, what would you do if a crocodile came at you right then? You know what I mean? Would you just panic? You know what I mean? You wouldn't just stay there. You would do something. You know what I mean? You would be active. It isn't really a real thing. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
No, yeah, this. Totally. And it's like because you're afraid
of what might happen.
It hasn't happened. It's like the most when you like really go down to it, worry and fear. Like, okay, is like basically ridiculous because it's our perceived notion of something that's going to happen, but it's a false reality.
Yeah.
So it's like people are freaking out, about the coronavirus because they're afraid that it's going to kill them. I'm sorry. They're afraid it's going to kill them, but we has don't know. It? Yeah. It hasn't killed you. And then if you get it, or they're scared of getting it. Are you just going to give up?
Yeah.
And then if you get it, you're afraid of dying. But all these things, it's like, you don't know.
Yeah. It's
you don't,
kind of out of your control.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's out of your control.
I have a question then. Are you guys afraid of dying? Per se? But like,
I would
or
say
what's your thoughts on dying?
I don't think I think about it. Like I don't. I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the rightest
and
answer.
That's the thing. It's like if you're really thinking about these things, then that's when fear can come.
But the thing is, unless you're suicidal, you don't consciously choose death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But at all costs.
But I mean, a lot of people like their biggest fear is like, oh, I'm so scared like that I'll die young or something like that. Or like things. This death in general encompasses a lot of like strong emotions and fear in people. And for me, like, a lot of the time, I usually feel like I'm not too worried about it, one, because I don't think it would ever happen anytime soon. But, of course, like, freak accidents happen all the time. But I've just, like...
Next week.
It's coming.
Knocking on wood. But
it's
just,
gonna
like...
be me next week. Just kidding.
Now we're all just screwed.
I'm taking over your spot. Sorry, Tony, I love you.
It's the CD. It's the CD scan.
The CD scan like a CD. We can totally work.
It's totally
We're making it. Right on.
Let's do it.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know where I was going. My death is already set in stone.
Oh wait, I was gonna say one thing.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
You said, you know how like the biggest fear of human beings is the fear of the unknown?
Yeah.
It's because fear literally like everything is unknown.
Yeah.
The future is unknown.
Totally.
So it's all crazy. I don't know.
That's why. Yeah. So this like I always get so many ideas all at once whenever people say things, and I try to just like capture them and just like be able to like spit them out, but it doesn't really work. But I like started in 9th grade. I started saying "Don't worry about it" like all the time. I think it was Joe Barry. He'd always be like, "Don't worry about it," He'd just say it like that and be kind of like a joke. And I like was just saying it too as a joke, but then I started saying it like for real all the time. And then like I really haven't been a very worrisome child throughout my youth. I think it's because like one, I just said it so much that I didn't really. That like it kind of like became part of my actual like mental state, and I'm losing where I'm going. Shoot, wait, what did you say right before this about
fear of the unknown?
Fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. Oh man, it's just.
Well, you just don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I guess I won't worry about it.
Well, I think Dang
it, what was it?
This applies. Is really.
I'm gonna listen back and I'm gonna know what I was gonna say.
Yeah. This is really applicable to the sports world.
Yes.
And you think about professional athletes, they always talk about reporters will ask them like, oh, you shot 4 for 10, how are you going to change that? But it's not like they can fix that. They can't go back in the past and fix it. All they can worry about is the next shot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I read something that I found really interesting, that even when you feel like you're on a hot streak, you're really, in basketball that is, you really never go outside of anything out of the norm. You know what I mean? Like when you flip a coin, if you shot 50%, then you would shoot about the same. You would make about the same amount of shots as you would like flipping a coin getting heads. It's really nothing out of the ordinary, and so you shouldn't worry about how you have been shooting because each shot is independent of another.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Independence test.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
10% condition.
It's crazy because the ego in sports can literally like oh my gosh, like the fearless mind is like literally all about that, like letting go of ego in the sports world. But I have a quick story.
I really want to go climbing now.
So I always perform better when I am not thinking because, again, thoughts, they just are not good, especially when you're doing something really important. But so I was in a state race for hurdles, 100-meter hurdles, my senior year, and I had just come back from long jump, and it was like ridiculous how they had it all set up. So I literally went from my long jump, jumped, kept running, and got to the starting line. Like, it was so annoying. But
jump, hurdle.
Yeah, exactly. But then I was like fresh. Like I could have. Anyway, okay. I'm not going to the past. But I go to start, and the start of the race went super well. I could feel myself like so fast. You know, like you can just like feel it, and then like a split thought in my head was, I'm getting tired. Like literally, it's just I'm getting tired. And the next hurdle, my foot nicked. And I quickly like recovered, but I got one place out of finals, and I was supposed to get like 5th, and that like hurt me so bad. But then I like a month later, when I was reading The Fearless Mind, I like realized I'm like that moment like was the ego moment, you know. And he whenever we do something and we start to think about not losing, when we think about like, oh no, what's gonna happen, like to me like that fear inhibits us from performing at our best.
Okay, so
at all times. And same with dance. Whenever I get in my head, the performance goes so much worse.
I totally get that.
So much worse.
Also with when I'm playing the piano, when I'm performing, you know, and I just start to think like of all my little movements, you know what I mean? And if I could just not think and just play it, you know what I mean? Then it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's again your body and your spirit is so much smarter and more powerful than your ego. And your mind is powerful, but your mind is not your ego. So that's why it's like
Okay, so I've been like trying to nail down this question of what it is, and I struggle with all the time. So you were talking about like that split thought you had, and kind of same experience happened for me at the divisional championship for speed climbing last year. And like you said, like you were picked to like take 5th or something like that. Like I knew I could easily take 3rd or even 2nd at this competition, and I ended up in 8th. And I like think it was like because of that, like I was kind of overthinking it. So how do you guys get out of your head? Because like if I'm at the start and I'm like, I'm not gonna say obviously like get out of your head, or like don't mess up. You obviously don't say anything like that. But like how do you just like, because like as soon as I tell myself to do something, like I think get out of your head, it's just like this.
It's your ego telling your ego
it's like
to stop.
It's a whirlpool, you know, like just like it's
hey ego, stop.
It's just not going. It's not gonna go anywhere. So how do you get out of your head? What's like?
So
is there a surefire way?
You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, obviously, like it takes a lot of practice. Like especially if you are in your head, you're always thinking all the time. It's gonna take. That's why I call myself a recovering ego addict. Like I'm not
crap,
the ego.
Be a big ego addict.
My ego is like not. It's always gonna be there, you know. But it's like less and less and less controlling me, you know.
Okay.
But meditation.
I think meditation's a big
No, yeah. When you said ego addict, I thought you just meant you were super narcissistic or something.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with myself. What I was gonna say is
meditation.
Yeah. So meditating, obviously, like there are guided meditations, but over time, the more you do it, like the more it won't control you.
I've seen some really interesting things. I read that Stephen Curry, he likes to tense up every single muscle, because once you feel like you're like completely trapped, then you have nowhere to go but like to be loose, you know what I mean? And it helps him stay calm.
That's my favorite meditation technique. It's like progressive muscle relaxation.
I do that when I like go to bed sometimes. Like I'll lay in bed and like I'll start with like my feet and I'll like just like start tensing until I tense everything up, and then just. And
another the biggest meditation like practice I think of my life is breathing. My mom calls it her religion. Shout out to you, Rachel. Love you so much. Because if you just take a breath, like it can literally just like breathe away those thoughts. Just like focusing on the breath is such a powerful thing, and obviously it's in yoga, and yoga is like this lifestyle of meditation. And if you're focusing on your breath, the more you do it, the more your mind knows how to relax.
Yeah, that's one thing I did when I got nervous for a race or a performance. I would always focus on my breath, because I found that to be really helpful, and it just takes your mind off a lot of things. I've also heard this golfer. It wasn't Tiger Woods, but it was the other one. That's really like Phil something. I don't know. But he would focus on his toes. Isn't that interesting? He would
that's
wiggle
so
his
cool.
toes. Yeah, as he was swinging to not think about it. You know. So
yeah, because once you're at that level,
you
know so well what to do that you just need to let your body take over almost, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And like sometimes that was hard for me with climbing because I felt like I was still so new to it because all these kids have been climbing since they were like 6 or 8 or 10, you know, and I started when I was like almost 14 basically. But once I like just trusted myself and really let go, like one of my best actual climbing experiences, like I was really good at speed climbing, but I just like naturally excelled at that. But with rope climbing, like I sat in my chair and I just like, you know, focused on my breathing and I just didn't think about the climb. I don't know how it was, but all of a sudden I was like one clip away from the top and I never get that high at a competition. And it was the coolest thing ever.
That's
though.
so awesome.
I was just so stoked. I was like, how did I do that? Because I just was just right there for each movement. You know, I wasn't thinking about the move up ahead or the one I just did or anything like that.
And the biggest thing to like this whole idea is like you're just finding the complete awareness of where you are. Like when I just recently did like a 45-minute piece with a dance with like 5 other dancers in a live band, and it was like a very challenging and just mentally hard piece.
Required a lot of focus.
Yeah, required a lot of focus. And when I caught myself thinking, and then like, you know, like I wouldn't be doing as well, I'd be like, I'm so tired. When is this gonna end? You know, instead of that, I would start just feeling like, how am I feeling right now? How is this movement like? What does the sensation feel like? Or when I'm duetting with someone, when you're with a partner in dance, you have to be completely focused. It forces you to be. You cannot think. You literally just have to completely feel. And the same goes for like if you were climbing. Like if you're completely focused on what your body is doing, like the holistic sense of it or whatever, like the sensation, you're not gonna think because it's gonna force you to let go of all the thoughts and just feel every sensation, be focused on all your surroundings and everything. But again, this is a journey. Like none of this comes overnight. I've been doing like, this has been a year in the works, but I'm definitely not even close to
well,
being completely
I don't know. We're kind of running out of time, by the way. But I just like to
no worries.
This quote from The Fearless Mind that just came to mind, and it said that all things being equal, the mentally strong will always come out on top. And so I think that's really cool because a lot of times, especially in cross country, you've literally done everything that you could have done, and you've done probably close to the exact same things that the other elite runners have done. And so it's the mentally strong at that point that will come out on top. You know, who wants it more, who's more, you know, mentally focused in every moment. So
totally.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry if any of this was very redundant, but this whole world is very repetitive. You're like, I hear the same things every single day, you know. I read
every
the same
conversation
things every day.
with like any person over the past week and a half has been the exact same, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the C word.
The C word. It's always about that.
Yeah.
What?
That's what. COVID-19.
Oh.
How did you not know?
Because it's just always the same conversation. So I'm glad that we could have like something so different here right now.
Yeah.
It's like, because this has just made me think of so much more that I want to do now with like all the free time that I have, and maybe I'll pick up a book. Maybe The Untethered Soul, Power
Find
Now.
some balance in your day. Try to find out what your body wants to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Focus
Try
in.
new something new.
Try something new.
Yeah.
Namaste.
No. I wanted to ask you about a
The
throw
light
up
and love
story.
within me.
Oh right.
Honors, salutes.
Throw up story.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the thing is, I literally told you guys I don't really have one.
She doesn't.
The last time
Yeah, it's
the last time I really like threw up was I was like 9 years old, and it was
That's
it
ridiculous.
was after
9 years old.
it was after a competition
That's like
dance.
half your life ago.
Yeah, I know. And it's the only time I didn't throw
It's
up
like
before
more than
that
half
either,
life
but
ago.
Really?
I just remember I got food poisoning from In-N-Out, so
Ooh.
Oh.
that's
Did it ruin In-N-Out for you?
No, I never really ate there anyway, so
Oh, okay.
I only
There
like
you
the
go.
shakes and fries, so I got it from the shake.
Really?
Yeah,
like
because I don't
In-N-Out's
like
fries.
hamburgers.
Yeah, I don't like the fries there.
Not a red meat girl. So there's no chicken at In-N-Out, so I don't really
Yeah,
care.
I'm a big hamburger guy. I love burgers.
Yeah, just like food.
But yeah, that is my story. It's
All
not
right.
a very good one.
It's okay. We had a plenty of good things.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like, I'm definitely going to go back and listen on this because I feel like I had a lot of promptings of things to do with my life that I'm going to have to go back and listen to so I can actually be like, okay, this is going to be what I'm going to do. You know?
Yeah.
Because this was just so much dumped on. I remember at the very beginning when you were first diving in, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, go read some of those books that I said. They're literally so awesome.
And maybe listen to this one more time, you know?
Yeah, maybe
repetition,
a few more times.
Repetition is good.
By the way, whenever I wrote these down, whenever you said ego, I thought of Anton Ego from Ratatouille. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
And then also, when you said the untethered soul, when you mentioned that, it reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen it. I know Tanner has, but Legend of Korra. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I thought Avatar when you said that.
No, so this one guy.
Zahir. Yeah.
And
Guru Lahima. I thought about this yesterday, dude.
Yeah, so he.
This is called being connected.
He has this. Yeah, he has this little philosophy that's like let go of your earthly tether and become wind, and he like learns how to let go of everything that he's attached to on the earth, and he flies.
And he can fly.
That is so
perfect.
It's symbolic. It's not true. You're not gonna fly. I
Well,
don't know.
But guys, if you let go of your ego, the whole world will expand. It'll be awesome.
Sorry to spoil that if any of you haven't seen Legend of Korra.
Oh, who cares?
It's a really cool moment. Not that I'm a big Legend of Korra fan, but yeah.
There were some cool moments in that. I just rewatched it. Okay. Well,
all right.
Thank you once again, Darcie.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
The light and love within me honors, salutes, and loves the light and love within each one of you.
Wow, that was deep.
Go do some yoga on this break.
All right. That's everything.